the Laurel, Gary and Mark Classic Conversations podcast with Laurel Edwards, Gary Clare and Mark Hine.
Welcome to the House of Fun.
Well, hello. Hi, everybody. It's Laurel, Gary and Mark from the Brekkie Show.
And we need Laurel, Gary and Mark and budget. Where's that member of the quartet?
I know. I seem to like the way you sang it.
Well, I think that's what we'll have to stick with from now on. Look, it is the Laurel, Gary and Mark Classic Conversations. Why has this come about?
Basically, we hadn't seen each other for about a year and we thought, what the heck? Let's get together. Plus, we've got so many interviews from our time in radio that we would love to share. A lot of them have never actually been heard before, so we're pretty excited about that.
Are any of the interviews you trying to get a job in radio?
Most of the interviews are me trying to get a job in radio.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
A little bit of background on us. We have been together as a radio team for, well, Gary, yourself and myself, 32 years.
Yes.
And then you got an upgrade.
We got a newbie.
Yeah, then we got the radio version of Ronnie Wood over here. 18 and a half years ago.
Well, 16 years at KQ and 2.5 at BC as well. So that's
You're
our
still
history.
the new guy.
So the story goes, our wonderful 4KQ was turned into a sports station, so they didn't require us buffheads who love music, and we went over to 4BC. And then
they didn't require us buffheads that like music.
Since then, and it's almost been a year since we've actually sat in front of microphones and chatted. And I know, Laurel, I didn't talk to you. Gary's always there because I help him with technology, so he's always ringing me. But
we text each other occasionally, especially when Richmond was getting beaten in the AFL.
Let's not talk about that.
Okay.
But we hadn't seen each other for a while. But then we got together and tossed around the idea of doing a podcast, and it just felt really, really nice to be back together again.
Yeah, well, when you're sitting around doing nothing other than mowing the lawn and watering the plants, it's nice to have a little bit of a creative outlet also, too. We miss talking about the number one passion of ours, which is music.
Well, very exciting for me. Not only have I never done a podcast before, I've never listened to a podcast before. So this is all virgin territory, my friend.
Which loops back to me helping him with technology because I'll be setting that up for him somehow.
Which is the pod bit.
Yeah.
Well, look, seeing it is your first, and don't worry, Gary, you never forget your first, we will edge you through this podcast.
Thank you. Just be gentle.
A couple of little housekeeping things here. If you want to contact us, we actually have an email address and we would love you to get in contact with us. It's just called The LGM Show. So it's The LGM Show, or one word, at gmail.com.
Well, that's going to be very important too, because we have brought in with us the only prop we ever stole from our past radio life. Give it a spin, Mark. It is the LGM birthday wheel.
I hate to break them to you. We didn't steal it. They were happy to get rid of the thing. It's got rusty nails. It was an HR issue. They virtually forced me to take it away.
No, I don't know about pricing, but we will look into that in just a moment.
Actually, may I say, I offered it to Laurel when we were leaving. I said, you've been here longer. I don't want it. I said, I don't want it. Oh, so it's been sitting in my garage.
No, the great news is we used to give away $1,000 for a spin of the birthday wheel, and Gary has decided that very kindly to offer the $1,000 again, right?
It's Rwandan dollars.
Okay, so if you do want to register with us, it'd be exciting to get our very first one. Just go to the LGM Show at gmail.com. Tell us your birthday and then we'll give it a spin. We'll work out pricing later.
Do you know how many of Laurel, because I set up the Gmail account, I went through about 20 iterations of Laurel, Gary and Mark, and someone's got them all.
Is that why the is in there?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Anyway, look, we do have some messages from the past as well that we didn't get a chance to read these out because we got them after we'd left 4KQ.
That's for sure. To Laurel, Gary and Mark, thank you ever so much for all you've done to help brighten busy mornings to your listeners. You've been part of our lives for a long time. When we had 3 children in primary school, the radio birthday announcements had everyone all smiles. We listened to you as each child left home. Then we listened to you as the removalist came to put some things of ours into storage and move us in with our daughter. We listened to you while moving into our retirement village, finally, after the new home was built. Now, we are retired now, and just wanted to say to you that we've been friends with all of you for such a long time, as you are all very professional we're sure that you'll be snapped up very quickly by another radio station.
That's two wrongs.
Wherever you go. Look, thank you, Bernard Veronica Hatton of Drew Vale. And as I say, that was quite a few years ago that we got that.
I got another one here to us. Thank you for brightening up my mornings. It's going to be strange without you. Thanks also for the lovely prizes over the years. Kindest regards, Kay Walpole. We may still be able to brighten up your morning, but prizes? No. No budget.
And I have one from Lee and Jade Tinney, which is a beautiful one. And they've actually dated it 2022. So these are a little old, but we'll be getting to the new ones when you get them through on the lgmshow@gmail.com. This card is for everyone who works at 4KQ. Thank you so much for the many decades of helping to put together Brisbane's best radio station. You are so talented, and it shows every time our radio is turned on. Well, maybe every time your podcast is turned on from here on in. So hold all your memories, your days at the wonderful station close to your heart, and we wish you all every happiness in whatever new adventure comes into your lives. You will never be forgotten. How sweet is that?
Yeah, very, very sweet. So moving forward, I mean, this whole podcast is all about our classic conversations and mainly in music. There will be some times where we stray into the world of sport or other areas. But coming up today, oh my goodness me, we've got Brian Wilson, who recently passed away from the Beach Boys.
Now, Gary, you were in France.
I was in Paris. Just thought I'd drop that in there. And I may have, because of the time difference, because I got it late at night, and I'm just seeing what the scroll along the bottom of the TV screen, because the only thing you can get in English was CNN. So watched a lot of news. And but this one was written in French, and it's lucky that I knew the word for death is
Mort.
Mort.
Yep.
Mort. And I thought Brian Wilson, Mort. I went, oh, he's died.
Yeah.
But it just started to come through then, and that was late at night over there.
Yeah,
That'd be very confusing if you were the lead singer of Aha and your name came up.
Morton.
Well, he came up too.
He's not well, I know.
He's not well.
I know.
No, but Morton.
Yeah.
Look, we would be revisiting that interview with Brian Wilson when he was coming out to Australia to play at Blues Fest. Also, Bruce Johnston from the Beach Boys.
Another new boy.
With a very special Brisbane connection. So we'll find out what that is. And also our dear friend, Brian Cadd. We all heard the news that Caddy had a stroke going back a couple of months. And I can tell you I went to a very special birthday party the other day with his beautiful partner, Rosie. And there was Normie Rowe there, Tony Worsley. Yeah. It was a Glenn Shorrock, such a very special day, and I can give you an update on Brian's health.
Yeah, we have a little bit of an interview that we had. That we actually rang him on his birthday, which is a really sweet thing. So we're going to replay that as well. But let's get to the Brian Wilson interview. As I mentioned before, Bruce Johnston coming up as well. And that's a longer interview that we actually have never played before, all of it. But let's get to Brian Wilson, first of all, from the Beach Boys, and take a listen to our interview with him. By the way, a quick thing about the interview. We were so excited to get him. Brian's not great with talking a lot.
Yeah, since about the mid-60s. But he did these interviews. I've seen him live a few times. He's fantastic, but they're very short answers. It's not the editing. They're just short answers. Easter, obviously a very important time. It is when we celebrate the return of the Messiah.
Jesus?
Brian Wilson, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, this Easter we have the man. He's at Blues Fest from the Beach Boys, Mr. Brian Wilson.
Yay!
Hello.
Very, very excited to have you here playing Blues Fest over the Easter period.
Yeah, should be good.
Now, one of the things I'm really excited about is that, yes, you're doing your greatest hits, but you're concentrating on what I consider to be the best album of all time, Pet Sounds. How did that come about?
Yeah, Pet Sounds, we're going to be doing that, and plus we'll be doing Beach Boy classics too.
Oh, I notice on Pet Sounds you have animal noises. It sounds like this interview could be on the Pet Sounds album.
Yeah, those are my 2 dogs.
What dogs do you have, Brian?
We have 12 dogs.
What's your favourite breed?
Poodles. We have 2 poodles and 10 little dogs. One's black and one's white, and they're both very big.
Brian, when you come to somewhere like Australia, is there a chance for you to get out and have a look around at different places, or is it pretty much on the road, on the road, on the road?
It's pretty much on the road, pretty much so, yeah.
Now, look, we mentioned there a bit earlier about you had the animal sound effects with Pet Sounds, and there were various other sound effects. How do you get that live on stage?
We're not going to. We're not going to have dogs.
Brian, with Pet Sounds, when you released it, it pushed the Beatles to do Sgt. Pepper's. Did you feel any competition between the Beach Boys and the Beatles?
Not competition. It was kind of like a mutual inspirational thing.
And of course, Sir Paul McCartney even said that the Beach Boys influenced them so much, and it would have been a lovely moment when you were inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame by Sir Paul McCartney.
Right.
It must fill you with a great sense of pride, because I've read a fair bit about yourself and the Beach Boys. So you've worked hard at this album while the others are out touring. They came back, and I think it's fair to say that one or two of the members didn't exactly appreciate the direction you were heading, but you must feel great when people claim this to be the best album of all time.
Well, the guys didn't like it at first, and they started liking it, and it was really a great album. One of the best albums ever done, you know.
Was it a case of the band coming back from tour and you've pretty much done everything and just sort of handed it to them and said, look, just add a couple of vocals to this, but that was pretty much Pet Sounds?
Right, exactly.
Now, we always like to ask our guests, especially those who have spent their life touring the world, is there something that they always take on the road with them? Is there something that you don't like to leave home without when you travel?
Well, I usually take my right-hand man, someone who helps me out during, my concerts.
So is there anything like some people say they like to take coffee, their own style of coffee with them?
Yeah, well, I never use coffee. I know I usually have Diet Coke or water.
Now, I notice one thing you're taking along with you, and I'm very happy to see this, is your old Beach Boys mate, Al Jardine. How did that connection come about again?
About 3 years ago, we did a Beach Boy reunion tour, and Al Jardine was there. And after the tour, I asked him if he'd come out with me and do tours with me, and he said, yeah.
Now, will you get a chance, Brian, to walk on any of our beautiful Byron Bay beaches?
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
I've managed to see you on several occasions with the Beach Boys and solo. It is always a great concert. It's Pet Sounds, then there's a bit of an intermission, and then the greatest hits come out, and that goes for 5 hours, apparently. Brian Wilson, legend from the Beach Boys, appearing at Bluesfest over Easter. It has been an honour to talk to you.
Thank you. I enjoyed it very much.
Give your poodles a cuddle.
Okay.
Well, what a great interview. That was with Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys. Sadly, we learnt that he passed away only a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I must admit, I didn't have the Pet Sounds album, but obviously a lot more
How'd you
people
get?
have been.
Off you
I know.
go.
I knew you'd be offended by that. But, of course, we know God Only Knows and Wouldn't It Be Nice and fabulous, fabulous songs from that album. But a very difficult album to record, Gary. It took quite a while.
Well, it was basically Brian. It's the rest of the band went off and toured and doing their Surfing USA and Little Deuce Coupe stuff, and yeah, everybody's having a great time. Brian's back at home in his sand pit and his tent, and he just didn't want to tour, didn't want to know about it. He was more into the production. And by the time the rest of the Beach Boys came back from touring, he's gone, there it is. This is what we're going to do. And it was very different to anything they'd ever done before.
So is that the end of 60s pop almost, do you think, there? Because that then, it bounced onto the Beatles to do Sgt. Pepper's. We wouldn't have Sgt. Pepper's without.
Well, even McCartney has said that. We may have had something similar.
Yeah.
But he heard Pet Sounds and sort of went to the other guys and said, I think we've got to kick it up a bit, lads.
And had the Beatles been doing that whole pop thing until that point as well?
Pretty much singles, go and do a dozen singles, and then they started to get into the production studios with George Martin and Rubber Soul and all this type of stuff.
Yeah, and talking about the cost of it, I mean, something like $70,000 back then in the late 60s. And, of course, what's that about? It was about $700,000 in today's terms. So a lot of money to record an album.
Well, so that was Brian Wilson, and that was ahead, by the way, of his Bluesfest Easter 2016 concert that he was doing, Pet Sounds and the Greatest Hits Tour, which I liked what you said in that interview, actually, Gary, that you do all of Pet Sounds as an album, and then you get to the Greatest Hits.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
The Laurel, Gary and Mark Classic Conversations podcast, powered by SAE University College, leaders in creative media and technology.
Another legend from the Beach Boys, Bruce Johnston. This was a really great interview because he's very bright and bubbly. Now, we have to mention that the audio for him, for Bruce, is a little bit shaky because he's on the train. He catches the train, and a really beautiful Brisbane connection. Have a listen.
Laurel, if I was to ask you, who was America's first pop band to reach 50 years?
Possibly us. I'm here.
See, I had backup for you if you didn't know the answer. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Beach Boys, he's the new guy, Bruce Johnston! Yay!
Well, listen, I have bad news for you. I'm on a train driving by all my surf spots from Santa Barbara to San Diego, so you're going to hear it pull into one station now, but we're looking forward to coming to Brisbane. It's going to be awesome. And I have my second son's is in Bond University right below you doing an IT and a business master's.
The Australian beach culture and the American beach culture, very similar, except our surfers are better, of course.
Yeah, but you keep getting, your ankles nipped by those sharks. So I'm a real into surf guy. I'm one of the founders of the Surfrider Foundation, and we have 64,000 members and chapters in Australia, and I live right on my surf break in Santa Barbara. This concert is awesome. I mean, Brian Wilson, and Mike Love just gave me my musical life. They write so beautifully, and we've got 15 people on stage. We've taken part of two bands and put them together. The show's 2 hours and 40 minutes, but 20 minutes of it is an intermission, and there's all kinds of scrapbook wall video stuff I haven't even seen. A fantastic overview of our career, and I'm really proud to be bringing it to Australia.
It's so wonderful to have the Beach Boys back together. 50 years, such an achievement. But you guys, man, you wowed them at the Grammy Awards. It was just incredible.
Well, let me tell you something about the Grammy Awards. I received a Grammy for songwriting years ago, but I've never performed. I had no idea. Everybody is singing live at the Grammys. There is no lip syncing. It's the real deal. Bruce Springsteen was rocking the house, going right into Bruno Mars. I watched McCartney play. I watched everybody play. Adele was a killer young girl. She's 23 years old and just brought the house down.
Now, it's not just memories with the Beach Boys, although there's plenty of those. The new album, absolutely sensational.
I think we did really well. Everybody sang beautifully, and there's two songs I really like. That's Why God Made the Radio, which is a single. There's another track on that, It's About Time. It's just a nice tip of the hat that we can still get up and make something new besides, we've got everything else we recorded. We've got that down. We know we can sing that in our sleep, but, we still make it like the first performance ever every time we perform.
You've got sibling bands that are great harmonisers, the Bee Gees and the Jackson 5. Does it ever amaze you to think that these guys from all different walks of life come together in the Beach Boys but harmonise so incredibly well?
Well, everybody has their style of singing, and then whoever arranges the vocals, maybe there's only 12 notes in a scale, but everybody has their own version of which way they put the notes, so to speak, on paper, even though they don't really put it in paper. So everybody has the timbre of their voices, the style, the vocal arrangement is for the song. So everyone's going to sound, in harmony singers, everyone's going to sound different, yet it's wonderful harmony. So we're bringing our version of harmony to Australia soon.
I recently read a book by drummer Hal Blaine from the Wrecking Crew, who did a lot of work with the Beach Boys around Pet Sounds, and he actually said Bruce Johnston is the most talented member of the band. Do you ever bring that up with Brian?
Well, not really, because I'm not, and I think my check cleared. I gave him $50 to say that, but that's not true. Hey, look, for me, I have a simple life. I live on my surf break, had a fantastic family, and 4 grown kids, and the last one in Australia is in grad school. Life is good. I'm healthy. I'm headed down to a concert in San Diego, but I'm on this train driving by all my surf spots, so it's kind of a great trip for me.
Bruce, can I ask you a question? Why do you take train travel? Surely you'd have helicopters and limousines to take you everywhere.
I'm on Amtrak, the Surfliner. Why would I drive through rush hour traffic and spend $80 on gas when I can go down for $37 in through rush hour, have an extra day at home, and sit first class service, our train service. That's why. It's a better deal. I don't care about limousines or airplanes. This is killing me. It's so great. And I'm just about coming up on my first spot, Rincon, which you can Google. It's probably the best spot within 100 miles here.
You've been with the Beach Boys since 1965. I earlier joked that you were the new guy, but you've been there since 65. You're the Ripcords before that. You tour America during summer, and then you go to the Southern Hemisphere during our summer. Have you ever seen snow?
Snow? Is that what you asked?
That's what I asked.
What is that? No, where we live here in Santa Barbara, we have 2 seasons. It's called day and night. That's all I know. And I have been known to. I own 2 pair of slacks and a pair of jeans and about 50 pair of shorts. So that's me. I'm a very casual guy.
Well, Bruce, we've got to be honest, Hugh. When we heard that the Beach Boys were reforming and that there was going to be a 50th anniversary tour, all we could do was pray that you'd come to Australia, and you are coming. You'll be here Tuesday, the 28th of August.
We have luckily been able to add one of the original members who left when he was 15, David Marks, and of course Al Jardine and Brian Wilson. So it's all rocking really well here.
I did see you with Mike Love. I've seen you a couple of times, and I've seen Brian Wilson solo, but at the River Stage with Christopher Cross and our own Daddy Cool. Any memories of that?
Daddy Cool rocked. They must have been the bomb, back when they started. They were the coolest. I really enjoyed them.
Bruce Johnston from the Beach Boys, so excited about the 50th anniversary tour. Tuesday, the 28th of August, you'll be here at the Entertainment Centre.
Well, we're looking forward to playing with you. We're glad to get to the region once Keith Urban got smart and left New Zealand and moved to the Brisbane area. So we'll be rocking and thinking of your famous boy there.
Well, that was our interview with Bruce Johnston, Laurel, Gary and Mark. It is the Laurel, Gary and Mark Classic Conversations podcast. That's what we're doing, is we're replaying a bunch of interviews that we have up our sleeve. I had a look, last count, there's something like 500 interviews that we did in our time together with a lot of really special people. And over the coming weeks and months, we're going to be doing those on the show.
Not all of them. Some of them were rubbish.
Thank you for that. I was trying to sell it.
I'm not going to name names.
Now let's talk about...
You know who I'm talking about.
Let's talk about Bruce Johnston just there. Spoke to him ahead of the 50th anniversary and also the album, and I thought that was quite fitting. That's Why God Made the Radio.
Wonderful album, and what a great single too.
So that's what he was touring on that. It was the 28th of August 2012 at the Entertainment Centre he was coming for. Now, the lineup was pretty amazing. And did you actually get to that Beach Boys concert in...
Not that one. As I mentioned, I've seen Brian Wilson solo a couple of times and the Beach Boys with Mike Love a couple of times.
And I saw them at Sandstone Point. And I'm just not too... I can't remember the configuration. I think it might have been. But it was fantastic. And, just to have every single person just singing along to every song was great.
Check out this lineup, though. I mean, this is the concert you really wanted to go to. You got Brian Wilson, original member of the Beach Boys, 61. Al Jardine started with him, yeah, in 61 as well. And Mike Love from 61. You also had David Marks. Tell me about him. He started in 62.
Yeah, he was like a friend from school, and you'd go to the garage, and I think he was with them for about 2 years and then decided to go off and do something else. But it was lovely that they brought him back into the fold.
Bruce Johnston was there. He started in 65 with the Beach Boys. So these guys have got a lot of history together.
And I don't know if we mentioned in the interview, but Bruce I wrote the songs.
Yeah.
So he'd be living on the royalties of that song alone.
Also, I did a little research on it as well. They were joined halfway through their tour here and there by the Wilson sisters as well. So Carney Wilson, I'm pretty sure, joined them as well.
Taking the kids along.
Yeah, and the Phillips sisters as well.
So Wilson Phillips
turned up and they did things as well.
How
Would
cool.
have been amazing to see.
It's sort of like I drag my kids along to gigs, my famous gigs.
Yeah. They're probably more famous than all of us.
Actually, why don't we give away some of your CDs on the wheel, Laurel?
Well, I was going to suggest that, but then I thought, well, no, we actually want people to listen into the podcast, not be turned off.
Hey, look, it feels like we're just like an old shoe being put on this show. We haven't seen each other.
Yeah, mine's got holes in it.
Haven't seen each other for close on a year now, or been behind a microphone anyway. So I wanted to find out. I've been doing nothing. I've done nothing.
And loving it.
But tell us, what have you been up to? I know you two have been travelling.
Well, I did a little bit of travelling. I finally decided that after many years of doing live reads for Viking tours and hearing how fantastic it is, and if you buy this month, you get $1,000 off, and blah, blah, blah. And I just said to Troy, we're going. You're not going to, well, he did take the guitar, but we're going to do a trip, and we finally did. It took like 12 months to get together, and it was, can I just mention, I haven't done much cruising at all, and I am so cranky that I haven't done it earlier. It was magnificent. Went all around Mediterranean,
nice.
France,
Yeah.
Monte Carlo a week before the big race, which was incredible because you could walk along the actual track, and Italy. And
Nice, you probably would have done
Nice,
that, yeah.
what is fantastic is every day you jump on shore, you go for a, well, actually, let's get it out of the way. It's a Viking cruise. It's known as a
Shameless plug.
You can sponsor the show at any time if you like Viking. And,
yeah, please.
and it was just magnificent to unpack, put your suitcases underneath the bed, go on shore, go and see these magnificent, iconic buildings and lots of cathedrals, as Troy said, and then jump back on board, eat until you can't eat anymore, go to sleep, and then next day you arrive in another city. It was just incredible.
And Troy wandering around with like a cardigan knotted around his shoulders would have looked a treat. Did he?
And his espadrilles.
I couldn't think of. Did he? When you said he took his guitar, was that just for personal things, or did he actually stand up and do a bit of a show?
Well, you know him. He just wakes up every day. Very proud to say that we did win out of about 100 people. We won the 70s music trivia.
Oh, well.
Hey, thank you very much.
Top work.
But look, Gaz, tell us about your little trip, because I want to see if you encountered something that I did, which was a really sad negative.
Okay, well, we did. We landed in London and spent about 10 days there. Saw a great play, if you ever get to see it, called Giant. With John Lithgow.
Oh, wow.
And it's just fantastic if it ever comes out.
So he was
here.
live on stage.
I was like 3 seats back, and there's John Lithgow.
Amazing.
And James and the Giant Peach, the author.
Roald Dahl.
Roald Dahl. It's about Roald Dahl.
Yeah.
Anyway, fantastic. Then we went over and spent time on the canals with 2 other couples, 2 guys I went to school with and their wives, and just in a little boat. And I got to be all sailery with knots and throwing up ropes.
Did you have a
everything.
cardigan around your shoulders?
You've got to think about that.
espadrilles.
Not everyone takes the cardigan.
Oh, I will be.
Of course you will. And then we went to Paris, and in between the wife running through stinging nettles and breaking her arm, we had a great time.
No.
She broke the arm separately to the running through the stinging nettles.
No.
Yeah, no. She separated the 2.
Oh, dear.
Still has the broken arm.
Did you have to pluck those nettles out of her?
She didn't want anyone near her.
Now, what have you seen, Loz, that upset you on your trip?
It was very upsetting. I guess when we were kids growing up, you didn't know anyone that went overseas. Maybe a very wealthy family that lived in the next suburb would have an overseas trip. But it seems these days the world has opened up. A lot more people.
Sorry, I remember an auntie went to Hong Kong, and it was like,
It was the great.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
That is
This
so far
doesn't-
away.
doesn't
No, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, the world is actually flat. But we had Jeffrey McLeod next door, went to Disneyland with his mum.
Oh,
and that was just
Jeffrey.
It was unheard of.
He's a spoiled
And
kid, though.
No,
How did he turn out?
was. He was a good kid.
I
But
bet he turned out bad.
these days, and one thing we noticed as soon as we arrived, and we've been seeing it in the media, been hearing a lot about it, and that is the overcrowded tourist destinations.
Yeah.
Now, we're part of the problem. Of course we are. We want to go and see all of these beautiful cities and countries and whatever. But it's when you get to the smaller towns, especially when you're on the cruises, that you see that there's some pretty distressing sights. Now, we are hearing about a lot of places like Barcelona. They are now protesting because tourism is so huge. People can't find anywhere to live because people are deciding to Airbnb their homes and their units rather than rent them out to locals. So there's a real problem going on, overcrowdedness in the streets. The distressing thing for myself, though, was Troy and I went ashore in Bari, in Puglia, and we were with a big tour group, but there were also 2 other cruise ships in town the same day. So lots of little tour groups going ashore. You've got your little earpiece in, the guide has the little microphone and the paddle with the number on it so you don't get lost. We went into the little streets, and it was a Sunday morning and super crowded, and there's people trying to get through. They're trying to get their goods to the shops, to the bakeries, to the markets, all of that sort of thing. Then we got to the entrance of the most magnificent cathedral, and we're all out the front. And as we went to go in, a lady came out and said, no, there's a Catholic Mass going on.
Okay.
They're taking communion.
Yep.
Is that what you say?
Mm-hmm.
Probably the most sacred of the whole service.
Yeah. I mean, I used to take the poor box, but that's beside the point.
Right.
You're a good Catholic, weren't you?
But our group, they all just decided they were going to walk in.
Oh, no.
And the poor guide, she was overwhelmed by it. So she just turned around and guided us in there. Now, Troy's Catholic, and he said, no, we should not be in here now. All of these heads turned around, looking quite distressed. No, this shouldn't be happening. Anyway, we're in there for 10 minutes or so. The guides were all talking loudly.
Oh, no.
The mainly American people who were in our tour group, because there was 80% Americans, started walking amongst the pews, sitting down, taking photos, while the priest is up there trying to
At any stage, did anyone strip off into a bikini and get a photo?
Well, just about. There were quite a few influences there too. I think there is going to be a boiling point coming up very, very soon. And we left the group, and I just said to her, look, this is quite distressing. She said, you were local? I said, no. I said, but I think this is too much.
Have some respect for these places.
Well, we did Notre Dame, and a mass was about to happen, and I was wondering how they were going to do this. We got in there with a little bit of time. I thought I'd like to see this. They did keep people going through, but they were very, very good. They slowed it down because the Notre Dame, you can imagine, the lineup is just huge. And they were very quiet, and there was always people there, and they didn't get in front of the priest or what was going on. So they managed it, but yes, I can understand that would be quite distressing.
Yeah, look, I think it's probably going to come down to you can't cap tourist numbers always, but they will have to cap in certain places, or the guides need to be very aware that these people, they live in their little villages. I know they rely on tourism, but they also need to be able to conduct their lives and do things they've been doing for generations, and that is going to Catholic Mass on a Sunday.
Well, having said that, it was a really hot day when we were doing it, and as I said, the crowd was just snaking their way to get in, and I thought, you can't really just close the doors and say this is Mass is going for 45 minutes or 50 minutes and leave these people baking out there. So it's a real catch-22. I'm not sure what the answer is, but the talking and the taking the photographs, no.
And the Louvre?
The Louvre, oh yes, that's right. We got to the Louvre and we did, and again, crowds are just enormous. And it was 2 days after that they went on strike.
Oh, really?
And we were hearing about people have got their tickets and then suddenly the doors are shut, and then it's all the people saying that work there saying it's just there's too many people. We're being overrun, and they just went on strike for the day.
They call it over-tourism, although I did read the other day that the most popular destination for Australian tourists at the moment, I think you've just been there, Malta.
Malta is magnificent, but once again,
too many people.
Very, very crowded in certain parts.
Don't go there. No,
it is
terrible place.
It's a beautiful place.
It is lovely.
All right, look.
One thing about Malta, walking down the main street of Valletta, could not believe it. You're in Europe, you've got the best coffee in the world, and a girl came up to me and said, do you know where there's a Starbucks?
You don't deserve to be here, even though you're in a bikini.
Again, with the bikini and also the sweater around the...
I told you
that's your entire wardrobe.
I've had a lot of time to think. Anyway, look, we're going to come back in just a moment. We might take a little break here and come back. You've got some tough to talk about news about one of our favourite people, Brian Cadd.
Yeah, well, I'll give you a little bit of a health update, but he's still gorgeous as usual.
The Laurel, Gary and Mark Classic Conversations podcast. Get off the digital treadmill and run better digital with Margin Media.
Welcome back. This is the Laurel, Gary and Mark Classic Conversations podcast. Once again, if you've only just found us, this is our first episode. We're going to be revisiting a whole bunch of really great interviews that we've done over our time as the Laurel, Gary and Mark show. School of Audio Engineering, got to thank them in West End. They've let us use their facilities.
We're even allowed to use their toilet.
I know.
Yeah, and given us pensioner discount. So thank you.
I forgot my seniors card. I'm sorry.
I know you hear Laurel, Gary and myself, but the other really important part of this show is Greg, our producer, who really helped us come up with how the show runs and how the show works. And
he knows the on-off button.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm saying it nicely because he can make me sound decent. Anyway, look,
I didn't know you were that good.
We mentioned a moment ago that Brian Cadd, one of our favourite people here with our show, Laurel, Gary and Mark.
Well, an incredible artist, and as well as being a great singer-songwriter, still performing in his 78th year. And but we all know the news. Sadly, Brian suffered a very serious stroke back in early April. And he, of course, is partner to one of my best friends, Rosie Adset. And Rosie gave me a call, and she was crying on the phone and said, look, Brian suffered a very severe stroke. We, Troy and myself, raced down the coast to see him. We weren't too sure what to expect at the time, and we walked in. Instant recognition. He knew us instantly, which is a very, very good sign, as doctors say.
You'd mentioned to me they'd planned on a trip to go as well, hadn't they?
They had planned on a really beautiful trip to Europe. For Rosie's birthday, they were supposed to be having lunch at one of his favourite restaurants in Paris on the 12th of June. Unfortunately, that didn't eventuate because Brian, as we know, is still having rehabilitation. He's doing that every single day. And is able to talk in certain sort of sentences and put words together, but there's a lot more that you can tell he wants to do, but physically can't, unfortunately. But Rosie decided for her birthday, instead of being in Paris, she got a whole stack of friends together. We went to the Southport Yacht Club, which was lovely.
What more would you want?
Caddy was at the head of the table in the wheelchair. The wonderful medical staff, 3 of them came along and were his assistants all day, making sure. But it was so beautiful to look at Caddy there, Rosie one side, and his best friend of how many decades, Glenn Shorrock, who is also in a wheelchair these days, but still performing.
Yes.
Still performing.
Doing an Australian tour.
Yeah.
Can you tell me, has Caddy still got the beard?
He's still got the big beard.
Looks like Santa Claus
He wore
still.
the brightest shirt, which was wonderful. Recognition of everyone there, which is great. And there were Normie Rowe turned up, Tony Worsley, his good mates from his pop past and music past, and then some very special personal friends. But it was great to see at one stage, I get teary thinking about it. Caddy was head of the table, and Glenn Shorrock next to him was wiping his beard when he got a little bit of food there.
That's really sweet.
They're just best friends. And we had them in the studio as Blazing Salads many, many years ago, and they destroyed the place. They had us in fits of laughter.
You know, Glenn Shorrock did the same thing with Graham Goebel's beard.
Oh, did he?
In
Okay, yeah.
LRB.
Really?
That's one of the reasons they broke up. Not many people know that story.
No.
He's a great beard cleaner, is Glenn.
Well, if I grow a beard, guess who I'm getting to clean it?
But we do wish him all the best. Look, it's a tough road ahead for him because it was so serious. But then again, they did get him to the hospital very, very quickly when it happened, which they say makes a big difference.
Look, our show is all about playing some classic interviews, and we are going to get to a Caddy interview right now. It's actually a really short piece that we just thought really encapsulated him and his feel. It was his 67th birthday, and we gave him a call. You'll have to excuse us. We're going to be singing again in this interview. Take a listen to us giving Brian Cadd a call for his 67th birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Caddy. Happy birthday to you.
How fantastic of you to remember. I'm 67 glorious years this year. Rocking. I mean, it's hard to imagine back in 1966 when I joined the group as a 20-year-old that would last 5 years, much less 50 years.
But see, you were smart. You got to play the piano, so at 67 you get to sit down.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I'm doing a show. We're doing a tour with Shorrock at the moment. He's even now bringing on a bit of a stool for a few sections of it. He's finally thrown in that sort of go-go dancer attitude he used to have, and he's sitting down now a bit.
Happy birthday, Brian Cadd.
Thank you so much.
So that was just a really short piece that we did with Brian Cadd for his 67th birthday. I found it a little sad listening to it because he's talking about Glenn Shorrock and he's saying, oh, look, even he's getting a bit tired and he has to sit down as well. But now that we know...
Yeah, Glenn Shorrock has Parkinson's.
And you were saying that Glenn's at this lunch you're at, Tony Worsley and Normie Rowe. I mean, what rock and roll history.
I don't know what it is about these guys, but they're still rocking. And Normie Rowe looks 50. And he is just so sprightly. And it was really lovely because he came up to me and we were chatting away. And of course, he'd been on the Laurel, Gary and Mark show many times. And he said, you know what, Laurel? He said, I can't believe that. He said, those radio managers, they're numbskulls for getting rid of you guys. I mean, at the very least, they could have put you on 4BH. And I went, we sort of...
There's another story.
We got the offer and went elsewhere, but...
We'll give a tease. We'll talk about that in a future episode.
But he did say something really nice too. He said, I always loved coming on your show, he said, because the great thing about Laurel, Gary and Mark, you never ever spoke over the top of
right
each other.
there.
We
Normally
never talked over the top of each other. Why would you do that?
It's just
I just don't get
professionalism,
it.
isn't it?
Absolutely. Can I actually, one of my favourite memories of Brian Cadd, can I offer that right now? We brought Brent James, who will probably get on this show in the future.
Musical director of KQ for many, many years.
Absolute genius. Brought in his little piano when he was a little kid, and we got it for Caddy and said, can you do Ginger Man on this? And
He did.
He's like leapt over this tiny little kid's toy piano. He's going, no, bloody thing. I don't think he was totally happy about it.
But Brent didn't care because he had Brian Cadd DNA all over the keys of his baby piano.
Oh, it was a great time. And look, I'm sure that we'll be hearing more from Brian. And I'm sure we'll be playing more interviews that we have with Brian
Yeah,
Cadd.
for sure.
The Laurel, Gary and Mark Classic Conversations podcast, powered by SAE University College, leaders in creative media and technology.
All right, well, that almost pretty much wraps up the show. Join us again next week. We're going to be doing this every week now. Laurel, Gary and Mark, Classic Conversations podcast. We do want to point towards next week's show, though.
Well, there's a reason why we're going to get on Mark Evans, original bass player.
yeah.
My favourite, from AC/DC. They have announced a world tour, Australia included in there, which is fantastic. They'll be at the MCG in Melbourne on November the 12th and Sydney's Accor Stadium on November the 21st. This is a big one too, the Adelaide Grand Final, which is going to be great. That's a supercar. So not only do you get your ticket to go see the car race, you'll get to go see AC/DC that night.
The only band that you can hear over the cars.
That's it. And then an early Christmas present to Perth and Brisbane-based Akadaka fans. The group will headline at Perth's Optus Stadium on December the 4th and Brisbane Suncorp Stadium December the 14th. Supported by Amyl and the Sniffers, who are the greatest new rock band in Australia ever. And what I think is fantastic, though, is they're working really, really hard in Melbourne in honour of rock royalties return down under. Melbourne City Council, they are trying to get the band to recreate It's a Long Way to the Top, the video clip, which was filmed, of course, on the flatbed truck in Swanston Street nearly 50 years ago. Now, the Lord Mayor of Melbourne, Nicholas Rees, said Liverpool has the Beatles, Manchester has Oasis, and Swanston Street has AC/DC. So whether they can get the band to perform and recreate that clip.
It's funny that we're going to be playing the Mark Evans interview because AC/DC are notoriously difficult to get to interview. We've never interviewed Angus. We never got to Malcolm, did we? Brian, I don't think we ever did as well. It was not through want of trying. We tried really hard, but they're just a really locked away band.
We did get the authors of their
several books.
Even they couldn't get them, and they had to source stories from around them. I remember there was a great story of Angus somebody just knocked on his door once and he answered the door and gave them a very short interview, but that was about it.
Yeah. And then one day with these classic interviews, we might drag up the Gene Simmons talk about Angus eating a hot dog. That's all I'm going to say.
That is one of my favourite stories.
Well, you know, we have to play it now.
Yeah.
We will.
We will play that. We will play that. And that's what we're doing here.
But look, next week, I know, look, he hasn't been in the band for a very long time, Mark Evans.
What was the first 4 albums?
Yeah, he was always my favourite, best looking. But also, he has some great AC/DC stories, so we will revisit that next week.
It's so funny you said that because I've listened to the interview in preparation for next week, and guess how you started? He was always my favourite and the best looking.
Gorgeous. I did get him to sign my Dirty Deeds.
What about the album? Is that what we're calling him these days?
All right.
I didn't know you were there. I did get him to sign my Dirty Deeds album, which is the collector's version because it has the caricatures on
Yep.
it, not the American version.
This is the Laurel, Gary and Mark Classic Conversations podcast. Once again, please email us. We would love to hear from you. And this is the email address, thelgmshow@gmail.com. It's been such a nice time catching up.
It's been fun. Hey, don't forget to tell us your birthday too, because we might be able to put the wheel to use even if we don't have prizes.
Yeah, lucky you. You got a spin of the wheel.
Yay.
The Laurel, Gary and Mark Classic Conversations podcast with Laurel Edwards, Gary Clare and Mark Hine.